Whoa. All right, everybody. It's that time of the week, reviews day. Pretty exciting. This was a fifth week. Does that sound right? This was the fifth
Yeah, it
week?
was the fifth week, so it was a little lighter.
Yeah.
I don't think anything major hit. Still some good
Yeah.
stuff. So we're big fans of fifth weeks. Either we take a break from reading a bunch of new stuff, or in the past, they used to do a lot of special fifth week events. I kind of missed that.
Tangent.
Tangent?
Tangent, one of those.
I think Amalgam was too, right? Used to be a big deal.
Amalgam.
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 So here we are reviewing the books from last week, from the past. Hopefully everyone's read
Yeah.
them. If you read them and you agree with us, let us know. If you read them and you don't agree with us, get the hell out of here.
Like,
No,
comment, subscribe.
no,
You get the F out.
we appreciate your views, your reviews, your whether opposing or if they align with us. We like that. We like having the conversation. That's why we're doing this. We are having a conversation. So, we'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Let us know if we're right, wrong, and why aren't we reviewing certain books? We just tend to focus on the books that we really wanted to read.
Right.
There's a lot of books. There's so many books come out this week, and we can't review them all. We could barely read most of them.
Yeah, we're gonna
But
probably start skipping like stuff that we know. Like you get the idea. It's already Awestruck approved. You know what I mean? But it depends. It depends on what's notable. You know what I mean? So this is notable for a couple reasons because I don't, in a weird way, I don't know why this wasn't like Superman 16, like
why wasn't
or
Superman 24? I think
whatever it is.
um,
Yeah, like so. Mhm.
it's because it just feels like it is Superman, but it would break the flow of the Superman story. It's almost like I didn't mind this. It's a good special. Should they've done a one half, do a point book like Marvel? Superman
No.
24 point L. But
Well, I guess it could be a sales performance. What we're speaking on here is that the Superman Lex Luthor special. Um,
which is by
but
Josh
I
Williamson.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean the Supergirl, the Superwoman special that was probably 3 weeks ago or something. Um, again with Superman, it's not. We only have two Superman books, but it's not as if they're not printing a lot of them because essentially you had Action Comics for 12 weeks in a row, right?
yeah,
So you had basically 3 months of Superman books,
right.
4 books. So maybe you're doing the math. They're like, we need to have Superman content in that period. I don't know. I can't really figure it out. But I guess what I mean by that is there really still that much space where a number one as a special? I feel like at a store, I would probably order it in the same, maybe one or two extra. Um, it doesn't say that it's starting a storyline. It just is. It is in the middle of a storyline.
Yeah,
Um,
it's literally a subplot that probably could have been told over the course of the issues. Maybe.
right. Yeah, but I guess my biggest problem with that is that I like Amnesiac Lex. I like this Lex, but
I
now
do.
where he's gone. So I almost wonder if because of All In, like it may be that it could have been another 12 issues where we had Amnesiac Lex, right? But now they're like, oh, everything's all in, all in. We got to get things going. So I wonder if this was like an editorial edict, be like, we needed things to be more exciting. We need more things to go on. So uh,
Yeah,
you don't need.
yeah. The Superman book has been a lot of action lately, so
Mhm.
no pun intended. But I like this great Eddie Barrows cover. Eddie Barrows is a really good artist.
Yeah, the main cover is really cool, and this inker is doing more of a almost like a Toddlebin type of like you know what I mean? It's really weird. Like and you'll see more of it in here, more much more textured inking there. I like the light source on Superman again. I like Superman's face here. My Superman argument face. This is a weird variant cover. This is a Gleb Melnikov cover to which he's homaging other covers like that. I believe that was the Glenn Orbeck President Luthor cover.
Right.
This looks like a McGinnis. This I can't really tell. I feel like these are drawings of things. This might have been so it is Gleb Melnikov's drawing, but the negative of it, I don't understand it. It's weird to me. I think it's totally mishandled. So I don't really know if I can find pencils on this thing or, if anything's on his Instagram, like, was this on
Hmm.
purpose? It's just weird. It's like a blueprint's behind him, a red print behind
Right.
him.
Right.
But I just don't know because they do it in the book a little bit, so which we'll see. But here's again, yeah, this can't. I'm trying to think what I'm thinking of that of the inking. I kind of like all this. I also like that, the punch here, the flash punch is pretty intense. It's pretty
The
insane.
flash punch is really good. The
The
blasting's
Superman's
good.
so big. I like this.
Yeah.
Like he drew a Superman so big. There's a couple.
It's
There's a
very
couple
it's very
drawings.
90s Superman. It's very, when you say 90s Superman, you don't think extreme. You think how Jurgens drew him big, Ordway drew him big. Uh,
Yeah.
and he just kept getting Bogendoff, he nobody drew him bigger than John Bogendoff. So
Right.
it's a nice callback to that because his costume is 100% Man of Steel Superman. There's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
new about that costume. That is John Byrne Man of Steel Superman. The S is still a little reminiscent of Jim Lee S, right? That's the Jim Lee has
Yeah.
that. So I love it. You can't beat it. You can't beat that costume.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job as far as like having I don't I get probably again a mandatory editorial edict where Star Sapphire's in is somewhat front and center in Justice League, in Green
Yes,
Lantern this
Green
week,
Lantern.
like in as a member of the Justice League primary. Again, my whole issue with Star Sapphire in a way is I feel like they've rebooted so many times where she was in Silver Age Star Sapphire and a Bronze Age Star Sapphire, and then like when they redid, I guess from Emerald Dawn was a reset, and then she wasn't Star Sapphire, and then like so I feel like they always reboot her to being stuffy Ferris Air agent,
Right, right.
and then it's like, oh, by the way, I'm also like a
Yeah,
Green
well, Jeff
Lantern,
Jeff Johns did a good
basically.
job with bringing her back and not only empowering her up, but empowering the idea of the Star Sapphire color as a whole Lantern Corps. That was a huge
Yeah,
step up. Um,
yeah. I think I'm going to that. This is the thing. I think the rush of this is we're going to lose a little bit of this. We're going to lose, the amnesiac Lex, like having a relationship with Mercy potentially, and we're going to miss it. We're going to.
I I like this a
I don't
lot.
know.
I
I
like
do,
Mercy.
but
Maybe it's the Baroness look of her. You know, I like her.
yeah. Look
Um,
at these. What is that? Like, I can't. I
it's like
can't.
a
Like,
it's like a Gary Gianni. It's like
yeah. There's
a
there's a
it's like
lot of stuff
a
going on because the Eddie Barrows comes from almost the school of like the
like a
Ivan
Tom
Reyes like
Mandrake.
house style.
Little Tom
Yeah, yeah.
Mandrake-ish too. There's some stuff in there, whether it's not intentional, they're just cross-hatching the hell out of it, but cross-hatching it in a way that looks almost like a pulpish, like you're looking at a drawing from the 1800s, something that would
Right, right,
be,
right.
you know, that's what's neat.
Now, what I
Uh,
like about this, I thought was really
whew,
weird. What exactly is being thrown here? A
soda.
milkshake, maybe?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
but
got to
it,
be
it
something because it
stays
sticks.
it stays on his face for like a
It's like,
while. It's
yeah,
kind of
it's got to
weird.
be some kind of coffee.
Yeah, but you
Um,
you would think this would go on. You know what I mean? He is just walking around the park, and he is responsible for people being, and that's probably true of,
I
of
can
a lot of
imagine.
different
I mean,
people.
I would imagine the same would happen to Elon Musk if he were walking around a park in New York City. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
In fact, I'm almost positive that would happen to him. He'd be lucky if it were soda or a milkshake.
Right, right.
Um, this is beautiful. Just I love Superman floating. Superman floating's
Yeah.
always my favorite.
Again, Christ-like. I like again, I think this is the guy's excellent Superman artist. I don't remember. I think I just skipped the Gail Simone because he just did issues of Action. Yeah, does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah. You
Right.
didn't read them?
I guess I just missed it. Yeah, I don't know. I think of the first cover
Did it turn
because
into a glance, or did you not even read them? You not
I
even
don't even
glance
think I
at it.
looked at it. I think I looked at the first cover and was like, I don't know if I care about
They
this.
don't because they don't feel like continuity,
They're
which is
not.
fine.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah,
People,
see, it just kind of stays on his face. So it's
yeah.
just really weird the
It was
choice
like
to not let it, but it's not on his clothes. I'm just gonna leave this there. I'm gonna stick it on there. I'm gonna have it stay.
I know. And they should have showed him like trying to wipe it off his face. Give it a panel of like, because nobody's just gonna stand around with like a splooge on their face. Like, get it
We're
off,
doing
dude.
it, doing it.
You know what? You're a billionaire. Just use your shirt. Who cares? Also, you're
Yeah,
Lex Luthor, so you're jacked. You're probably wearing like an unaptly named wife beater underneath. Just wipe
right,
it
right,
off.
right. So another flashback, another. So we just get Lex. Something triggers, and then Lex has a little bit of a flashback, which is done well in the black and
You,
white, black, white, and gray.
you know
What'd
what's
you think
fun?
of there? What's that third panel look like? Who's that look like?
What are you going for?
That guy.
Oh, it looks
Boom,
like
there he
I was
is. He
just going
looks
to say that.
exactly like him.
No,
Yeah.
that's the point I was going to say. Don't you love the fact that they've turned Lionel Luthor? He's just always going to be John Glover.
Ah,
I
yeah,
love him.
because that was just like such an iconic performance, and but no, this is where they can retroactively do that and it be a good situation, whereas a lot of times they do it in Marvel and you're like, I don't want Hawkeye. Hawkeye, put your fucking mask on. You know what I mean? Like
You know what else? Who was the first DC character John Glover? John Glover played.
the Floronic Man.
That's right, Jason Woodrue in Batman and Robin.
Ay, ay, ay.
I remember in an interview, they were like, "Well, how's it like acting with Batman?" He goes, "I don't act with Batman. I only play with Uma." I'm like, "Oh, what a creepy way to say that."
That's weird. Ay, ay, ay. Look, he's still got his own. Look, as this just stays on him,
Dude, it's getting thicker.
you know?
It's like multiplying. What
Yeah.
is that?
I
Milkshakes
don't know.
melt.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like it didn't really look like a Starbucks like coffee. It wasn't hot coffee, it doesn't seem like, but it doesn't seem like a milkshake either. I'm not really
You know,
sure.
maybe there was two girls with that cup.
Oh boy. Um
Ugh. Look at and now it's going back up his head. It's going
yeah,
the
it's
opposite
getting
direction.
it's going and then it's now more on his shirt. Again, it's crazy. Crazy.
And you know, it's
But
crazy. Is
yeah,
like, and by the way, we're like shitting on all this, but I actually really like this issue.
I like this issue, but look,
But
Superman's got like the cross eye just like the movie.
oh
He's
my
doing
goodness,
the eyes going side by side. Does David Cornsman have brown eyes? Does he have, or do they do blue eyes on him?
I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
But this I thought I don't always love when they do, I don't I mean, do you like that the Lex Superman stuff is somewhat overlapping?
You know, it'd be
Also,
nice if
got
they
Astral and the
overlapped.
baby.
I mean, I'd say they overlapped and never met. Like
Mhm.
that would be more interesting. But
Right.
whatever. It's a Silver Age thing. So if it happened to Silver Age, it means something today.
Yeah, this is a very Brian Hitch feeling
Yes.
here. And the inks are a little heavier here. It's weird. It's weird the way the inks. I'm not sure of the split. I mean, it says that they drew it. It doesn't. I don't think it does pencil to ink. I don't know if it's more finishes by, but we lose a little bit of the threading and the chiaroscuro a little bit. Still a little bit right there. Uh, but yeah. So basically, the situation is that he creates this some type of like symphony which soothed Superman as a baby. It
Right.
was just that he could hear maybe like that
Yeah,
sonic
because it was supposed to go into
thing.
space or something.
Right, right,
But
right.
that's probably
So,
why Superman was crying because as a baby, we were talking about it on news this week how it took new media to really show us how Daredevil would sleep, how he
mm,
reacts to all the sounds constantly, and Superman as a baby would be the same thing. He's having these superpowers but no way to control them. He hasn't trained himself yet. So
right, right.
as a baby now he can hear the music on a supersonic level, you know, and it soothes him. And we see this is sadly we think the return of evil Lex. We don't love it. Lex doesn't see
Nah, I'm
himself as
enjoying I'm
evil.
enjoying the Lex as this. I'm enjoying Lex as Amnesiac Lex,
I'm
but
enjoying Lexi, as they like to, as Mercy calls him, Lexi.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I was
there's
like,
a I
I
don't like
like
this
this book.
cover. So
The,
Green Lantern 19, yeah, they got the legacy numbering, which I think I put in there. Boom. But I just don't like this cover that much because I just think that everything looks
is
very
that all 586? Huh.
uh
I mean, I didn't do the number.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't do the numbers, but
I'm not sure when they threw that in there. I'm not sure when it went if it went to all in and they threw that number on there. I'm not really
this is
sure.
honestly the first time I've ever seen those numbers on. I don't think I've ever seen Legacy numbering on Green Lantern.
No,
I don't think they've ever
I
done
don't
it
think so.
before.
I don't
Because
know if
there's
it
a
was on the
little.
first all in. I don't remember. But this felt very similar. Oh yeah, this was the
Hey, real
alternate
quick,
cover, which
remind
I
me.
thought was pretty great.
Oh, that's neat. Remind me. The Green Lantern, he got his own number one in the 60s, right? But Flash got the Golden Age Flash numbering.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel like that's correct. Like Green Lantern got
Mm,
his own number one after being what was he? He was Brave and Bold, right?
hmm
Where he first showed up, Silver Age Green Lantern, and Silver Age Flash was Showcase 4. But then I think he just took over the Golden Age Flash's numbering after I guess a couple year break. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that seems right.
Yeah,
So
because by the time
yeah,
the
but do
80s
they
hit,
do appearance?
What do you
Or
mean?
did they do like the incontinuity from like that Green Lantern numbering through like if you can't say like Thor when Thor says, "Oh, Thor 600," it's not
Right.
600 because there was 83 issues or 82 issues of Eternity and Mystery. It never happened.
Right.
So when
That's
they do
all.
this like legacy numbering, which is not on the variant cover, or maybe it is, I don't know. Okay, cool. So,
Um, yeah, because Green Lantern, because like it turns into Green Lantern Corps at 200, and 200
mm,
hit us around somewhere around Crisis, right?
mhm,
But then we got a couple years without a Green Lantern book.
right,
Green Lantern
right.
Corps gets canceled, low sales. We get Green Lantern Emerald Dawn after the Batman hikes up. All DC Comics went up with Batman.
Mm,
That's the whole Batman's like, in the late 80s was a case of the rising tide lifting all boats. DC people got generally interested in DC off of Batman's popularity.
right.
So we got that Green Lantern book, right? And that's the one that turns into Kyle Rayner's book, right?
All of 51. 51 is Kyle Rayner.
And
Yeah,
that gets
Emerald Twilight.
and that gets canceled when Jeff Johns does Rebirth, right? Or does it keep going?
Yeah. No, no, that gets canceled. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't remember. But yeah, it would be interesting to go, but 500 seems
Seems low.
too high. You think it seems
Oh,
low? I think it
look at
seems
that.
high.
I don't know. Well, Flash is
I
up
don't
to
know.
like I remember the Tony Daniel Flash cover after 52 was like they were celebrating 700, right? And then Joshua Williamson did 100 issues, so Flash is probably near 900 right now,
Yeah, yeah.
and Green
I
Lantern's
don't know
only
Flash because I'm not actively reading Flash because I haven't liked the Cy Spurrier run. I tried to read it on the DC app when it hit so many or a trade came out or something, and I can't seem to get into it. I see the concepts, I understand the concepts, but you know what? The thing I always want with the Flash is I want a little bit of humor. I want a little, and it's just not there, so it's too sciencey for me, so I can't really do it. Like here with Green Lantern, you don't really want you want like Han Solo, right? You want Hal Jordan as
yeah
Han Solo. You want
yeah.
Space Han Solo.
The humor comes from his
Well, even though
cockiness.
Han Solo is space. Yeah. So, but you're right. So that's, I thought I did interiors on this. I may not have. I guess
They
I did
skipped it.
not.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Well,
think
let's.
the biggest thing here is that basically the ramifications of guys stealing the book and then the book getting stolen again. Um, but more so the formation of this is basically Green Lantern Corps Zero, which is how it should be done. Rather than have an issue one of Green Lantern Corps and then they're getting Green Lantern Corps together. So I
Now,
like this concept because I feel like so many books, we'll talk about one later, is this is not a number one, where I'll feel Green Lantern Corps when that comes out, that's going to be number one
now,
correctly.
did Jeremy Adams start this series off?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I got to go back. Jeremy Adams, what a super nice guy, but what he said is the only book of his I wasn't really reading. I kind of got Green Lantern out. I feel like the last creative team didn't really do it for me.
Hmm.
Like
Right.
I've read everything Green Lantern up until like 2 years ago. So
Mm.
like I just got Green Lantern out, but like I like Jeremy Adams so much. I read this issue. You're like, well, let's review this issue. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. I'll read it. And I read it. I'm like, damn it, this is really good. I'm totally involved with this book. Now I got to go back and read the other 18 issues. Like
Right. Right.
I can't not. I don't know how many's on the app yet, but I got to get caught up. Um,
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean the big thing is that I think that fractured spectrum concept is really good. I think that again, it's all building off of the thing Jeremy Adams is doing essentially is he's not excluding anything, but he's not making it feel like weighed down. I don't know how he's doing it. I'm not really sure,
is
but
that
he's doing a great job. Like
when
period.
Flash gets too much, that gets weighed down too.
Yeah, and that's why I
That's a
bail.
pun,
I
Mark.
can
It's a
bail.
pun.
You
You
know.
get it?
No.
Weighed down.
Oh, I see.
See what I did there?
Mark Wade down. Mark Wade down.
Hey, speaking of Mark Wade,
Um,
you know what's funny? He had brought up nobody. I didn't realize it when he was doing Action Comics 1072.
mm.
He did a couple callbacks to Action Comics 572, which is actually his first comic book he ever wrote.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
So it
that.
was just a funny, yeah. And it was almost 40 years
Was
ago
that
to
on?
like the month.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that's crazy. Well,
Mark
he was an
Wade.
editor for a long time. I mean,
Yeah,
that's, and he edited Amazing Heroes. Does that sound right too? He did
yeah. He was
some,
doing Amazing Heroes and writing articles for them first.
mm,
So
and he was editor for a long time. That's why he kind of helped bring Grant Morrison over, so that was kind of interesting when they
yeah,
eventually worked together on 52. It was kind of Oh yeah, we worked together before. So,
He wasn't
um,
happy. Like DC has had a real. I guess it was Didio. Didio and Wade just didn't get along. They're both two very trying to be alpha dogs.
mhm.
Which I don't know how hardcore you got to be an alpha dog in comics. You know,
Right,
it's a low
right.
bar. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I think the biggest thing is that, the just different concepted ideas, like Wade's somewhat very reverent to certain things, and Didio just be like, well, let's tear that down. Like let's just
well,
do that
Wade, I
differently.
believe, has like a complete Superman collection up to New 52. And I remember talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, I stopped buying it. I have a complete Superman collection. That's not my Superman, you know?"
Hashtag not my Superman.
That's right.
Hashtag not my Superman. So pretty light DC. We give me one or two other books. There was like a Lex special. I
But
think
did
it's
you
on the app.
So wait a minute. So real quick, I
Mhm,
just wanted to complain about this. So you
mhm.
get to the last page of this issue, and there's like what, three new Green Lantern books? Like we're getting like stop doing it. Focus on just this one really
No,
good
I
book.
think it's two. I thought it was just yeah, I thought it was
It's
just
Green
this
Lantern
and
Core.
Brilliant Core. Oh wait, well, I think there is like a tangent. There's a tangent Green Lantern book too,
Yeah,
but
like
that's
Dark
not.
something or other, right?
Yeah, but that's not related to this. So I don't know. I don't know. Did they have an ad? I thought they had an ad just for Green Lantern Core number one.
I can tell you one second. Let me open up my Kindle app. I hate Comixology. We need something better.
They keep trying something better, but it keeps failing.
Maybe it wasn't in this. Maybe it was in something else.
I felt that way about the Star Wars thing, which we'll get to. When
The
they
Star Wars
announced
thing,
certain
yeah, yeah.
things,
Oh,
and I was like,
anyway,
are those coming out?
what I liked about this. Here's what I liked about this issue. I forgot. Superboy, Connor Kent, Connell, in like the Nightwing is seen everywhere. He's coming out of the water and it's splashing all of him. And he's like bare chested. I'm like, who is this page for? Not for me. Um, but it's
That's
awesome.
right. That's right.
And
Yeah.
then he has like the love interest of the girl criminal. Uh, Star Sapphire is really good. This is just a really good issue. As I'm opening it, look at the pages, but you failed to bring in to this review.
I know.
Um,
It's surprising. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's funny that I think it's interesting that the editorial edict, like who decided is like, all right, Star Sapphire is a big deal now. We're going to put it in everything. And I feel like that happens from time to time. I always think about like almost like Toy Story when that stuff happens. It's like they become like more relevant or less relevant, right? Like when especially Toy Story 3 where they're like I was a big deal and now I'm not a big deal. Like it's when is their time to shine? Like, remember Catman was hot for a while? It was like Catman, right?
yeah, under
Catman
Gail Simone.
everywhere. And then they're like, okay, no one else can really write Catman, so it's over. So there's no Catman now. Like,
No,
it's just really
he's
weird.
in something.
He is. I think the Secret Seven technically are still around. I think or Secret Six or
Six
whatever. Secret
six,
Seven. I'm just making
dude.
up
And who
an
made us
extra.
love Mark? Who made you and I love Catman? Who made
Norm
him?
Brayfogle.
That's right, dude. Norm Brayfogle killed it.
Mhm.
That was the first Catman I saw. I'm like, this guy's awesome.
Yeah, you're just looking at. I remember the cover. I remember the silhouette on like there. He's like
Super
standing up there, and I'm like, what is that? Who is that?
super
Like,
badass, dude.
yeah.
You know what's cool about DC? DC's like, oh, there's a public domain Catman that we don't own. We need to own that because we have Batman, we have Catwoman, but there's a public domain Golden Age superhero called Catman, and his what was cool about him was his sidekick was a girl. It was like Kitten, Catman and Kitten. So
Mm,
that I think that was the
right.
first sidekick in superheroes that was a little girl instead of a little boy. Equally as creepy, I'm sure. Let's just hope.
Probably.
Um, so yeah, that was awesome.
Bear's sleeping over here. He's like so out. I just started
Not
kicking him. He's so out right now. Like his paws were moving and stuff. So I think he's maybe chasing
that's a lot of
something.
that's a lot of dog to
So
move around. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's a lot of dog.
It's a lot of
So
dog for a bear.
this is my favorite book of the week. I think it's really funny that this is such a bloody book
Yeah,
and his parental advisory really small. It's a Jonas Scharf cover. But Interior's Adam Gorham is just like killing on this book, man. This book's crazy. I don't know exactly where Adam Gorham's from. I feel like I've seen his name around last few years, but um, I just love this team. They got this weird, like, got this crazy Doctor Strange here. This is Philip Kennedy Johnson, Adam Gorham.
right, right.
Wolverine's going to show up. Everyone's going to show up into this. What I like about the first issue is the first issue's cover, which I know they're trying to sell the series, hook you in, is they have Bucky on the cover, they have Wolverine on the cover. No Bucky yet. Bucky's next issue, but just a bloody, bloody. I also like he can smell that they're Americans. Look
We
at
have a
all
certain
that
smell.
blood. Look at all that
This is a,
blood.
you know what's crazy though? This is a really cool looking picture. Doesn't Wolverine know he has claws at this point?
No, I
Why
don't.
not? Because he
I
wouldn't
would
technically
imagine.
he
Yeah.
doesn't lose his memory to Weapon X.
Right.
All
Right.
right,
Right.
here,
Also,
here's how it thinks. He didn't know he had claws prior to Weapon X, prior to them creating the story of Weapon X. But once we created the
mhm,
story of Weapon X, all of a sudden it's like, well, he knew he had claws back then because we didn't mess with his memories till Weapon X.
right.
So
Right.
stories after that show him having claws. He has claws in Origin. He has claws in Origins too. He has claws in Daniel Way's Wolverine Origin book, which had a lot of backstory in it.
Mhm.
So he always uses claws. So now all of a sudden he like forgets just because like I guess in the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont, Uncanny X-Men 268, he didn't know he had claws in that. So I guess
Right. Right.
if you
Right.
go by that, then yes, but technically he
Wasn't
forgets
there
he
an
has
issue with?
claws.
Wasn't there in there like a Gene Colan issue? I don't know if it was Claremont or not with him like with wolves and stuff. I don't think he when he was a kid, but I don't think
Right,
he
right.
snicked out on that. He had
Well,
snicked.
yeah, that's you have to force that
Possible.
in. That's in. Yeah, that was originally they go back and forth. Supposedly, I think it's just a story, but I think like
Mhm.
people used to count that as part of his origin.
Right. Right.
But I don't know if it
I
doesn't
like
fit
that
in with
cover.
Wolverine. I don't think they considered that when they did Wolverine Origin, the miniseries.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So I don't know.
But also I really like that there's multiple. I'm not sure who lettered this. I don't know if it was like Russ Wooten or somebody,
Whoop,
but I
whoop.
like that the brack's there. You got the blam, and you have like a different blam over here. And this thing has a different blam, I guess. Or yeah, this is also a very gross. It was in the last issue.
Oh, that hell
This,
gun, demon gun thing.
ugh,
You're like, it
this
probably
is
feels like wet
disgusting.
skin, and you gotta watch
Yeah,
out for the teeth coming out of it.
I love this Ghost Rider design. Holy shit! Look at the with the
Yeah.
barbed wire and stuff. Like,
It's
yeah,
such a cool idea. It's like, oh, we don't want to give them chains. What else can we give them? Barbed wire? Yeah, please. Ghost
yeah,
Rider
it's
should have.
insane.
It's something cool.
It still has the chains, but like it's but yeah, I just love like yeah, I just love. I feel like I like every Ghost Rider except for whatever they're doing now. You know. Well, there's too many Ghost Riders now, and I feel like every time I see an issue of Solicit, they're like a new Ghost Rider this issue. I'm like, what? I don't need a new Ghost Rider. I don't need a new. There's plenty. Even I didn't even really like it when originally that ended up being really good. But I remember when Johnny Blaze showed up, I'm just like, I don't want John. I want Danny Ketch's story for a little while long. I don't need another person here. But he ended up being like kind of like a mentor character, so it
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up being really good. And then you
Right.
had
Another guy in a trench
um,
coat.
yeah, you have another guy in a trench coat ponytail. But then you have the Adam Kubert Spirits of Vengeance book, which is great. And I want to say he did almost like the first 14 issues like completely no fill-ins. It was just Adam Kubert, man, like crazy.
Who drew Vengeance first? Was that Adam Kubert?
No,
Ghost
no,
Rider's version of
Garney.
Venom. Was it Garney?
No, that's Garney. Yeah, yep, yep. I don't
I
know
feel
if
like
Adam
that.
ever drew that. No,
I
I'm
can't
about
believe
90% sure that that design was Garney.
that's a shame we never got to Vengeance in a Ghost. It's like if they bring Ghost Rider back, which they 100% will, I still feel like you should have Nicolas Cage come back. And I like the guy who played Robbie Reyes. He was pretty good. And you should have Danny Ketch too. Just full on Ghost Rider me out. But bring back. I want to see Vengeance. Give me Vengeance.
Well, you can have Nicolas Cage as an old Johnny Blaze now,
100, no,
you
100%.
know.
100%. You should play
Um
Vengeance. It's too late now, Mark. It's too late to do this. But like, you should have
Too
John
late, Junior.
Travolta. You should have John Travolta play Vengeance. And what
Face.
do? That's right. We'll face literally because their faces catch on fire and then there's the skulls.
Oh my God.
Too
Ridiculous.
too good of an idea. Chalk that one up to the
Ridiculous.
past.
So
It's ridiculous.
here we go. Here it is. Star Wars New
All right.
Legacy. Now, what was fascinating about this cover, it's a McNiven cover, number one. So this is like the Bounty Hunters McNiven.
But like I thought it was Nick Bradshaw at first.
Yeah, because he's doing a tight. You could even say a Gary Frank. You could even say a Jim
Yeah.
Chung a little, like the yeah. But you're right. I think it's a Bradshaw. But basically, what's kind of cool about this is that you can almost, besides Valance in the middle, the Cable-esque, like everyone else is new. Everyone else is new Star Wars continuity characters. Dr. Aphra, Kazak, Santa Solo,
Right, right.
0001. Like I can name the characters except for this guy because I think that's a Soul creation, right? It's
Yeah.
all Soul
I think it's a newer
creation.
guy. And you know what? I
Right.
like that all their colors are different. Like they're all they look good standing together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good cover.
but I thought it was kind of neat that like you have three stories. Initial one, Charles Soule, Ramon Rosanas, I believe here. So Sana Solo,
right?
Dr. Afra story. But and I guess this is well, that's is this the guy with the mask? Is Rick Duel or no? Rick
No,
Duel.
Rick Duel,
Yeah, I like this panel too. There's Cable. Um,
basically.
pew pew pew.
Pew
Well, if
pew.
you look
That's
at
funny.
that, actually, I saw that yesterday in a shop in like an antique store shop, and they had it for like $79. It was just the first appearance of like Balance, and it's the Simonson, very Simonson-y cover, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not worth $89. It was in a,
No
like a
way.
thrift store slash
They're always weird with their
like
prices, dude.
they
Like,
just make up whatever. Everything's 19.99. They had some Mad magazines and Crack magazines that were like 29.99. I'm like a dollar, like $2. Uh,
they're all, old American crack magazines. They're all like $10 books, like easy. Because it's just their covers alone make people buy those books.
yeah, yeah. No,
Mad and
that's right.
Crack
I mean, you
magazines
had
probably they've always been consistently like the best covers of like all comics. Like they're
Yeah,
very
that's
attractive.
they just made it very it was very important. It was very important for that newsstand pull. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
they did a very good job.
Yeah.
But that's right. That's their covers were always fantastic. It's a girl boss ending. I'm still I'm done with like Star Wars girl bosses, So it doesn't need to be this way, but you did it. You did. The second Jason Aaron story I thought was just okay. Actually, it was funny. It like he kind of kicked off, but it was kind of the worst one I feel of everything there.
I could have
Still
I felt like
okay.
this could have been longer. I like the way that it
That's what
ends.
she
It's
said.
like that's right. Um I like the way that it's like here we are, we're getting down, getting rid of these rebels, and the people are with us. And then slowly like, oh, the people aren't with us. Oh shit, we're the bad guys. Like I love that ending.
Right.
But
Right.
like oh the second Death Star is gone now. Like I wish they would have had more details. Like
Yeah, it felt very like very Star Wars Dark Horse Star Wars Tales, like very insignificant, whereas I felt the first one was like, okay, we're building to a bunch of stuff. And same thing with this third one. I thought this third one was pretty great actually. Kieran Gillen's return to Dr. Aphra and all the characters he kind of created,
it's a
this
great
reverse
reflection of like
R2D2.
being all yeah. Well, it's a great reflection of like a Millennium Falcon scene.
Yeah.
Darth Vader's
Yeah.
awesome. I just love Darth Vader coming in. You can just
And
hear
it
that
fits. I
voice in
mean,
your head.
it's again, it's Kieran Gillen had the best. Was that 50 issues he did of Darth Vader's? I think that's right. 50
I think that's
issues.
right.
But
Probably
that
went.
was, I don't think Aaron really created new character. Well, I think Santa Solo was Aaron, if I'm not mistaken. So,
He created that jacked hut, like that
oh,
one
that's
job of
right.
the hut that was all like
That's right.
big and muscular. I'm like, this guy's awesome looking, dude.
Yeah, I forgot this book. So this is when you were talking about the Green Lantern book, I thought you were talking about this, where I was like, do I know these three books are coming out? Well, I guess that book's not a book.
I did not know these three books were coming out. This
This
might have been
book's not
yeah.
a book. That's
Which one?
those are just wasted. Those are just wasted books. Like to me, when they do the adaptations, like way far along after, and they make it 4 or 5 issues, then a trade. Who cares? Like I don't want to think about that movie. I don't want to. I don't care about it. Like I don't want it. And you doing this is not helping. It doesn't help anything. They haven't done a good adaptation of any of the movies. Like
No.
since probably the first one, basically, or Empire or Jedi because that was L. Williamson. But it post
So
that episode
I
one's
like
terrible.
I like the Jedi Knights cover, and it's like, are they all dead? Are all these Jedi Knights dead?
Uh,
The guy in the back might not be, because he was the one that Luke Skywalker was rumored to be. Like when they were trying to tell everyone that's not Luke
okay,
Skywalker in
Fisto,
Mandalorian season two. No, not Kid Fisto. Kid Fisto died. He
Plo
died
Koon
in
here.
Revenge of the Sith. Yes.
That's right,
Yeah.
Plo
All
Koon.
the yeah. He's the one that's like they were telling people was showing up in Mandalorian. And
It's
I
funny.
don't
I didn't realize Qui-Gon's there. I thought this dude was Qui-Gon
so did I.
at
I thought
first.
at first second, I'm like, oh Qui-Gon. Okay, oh no, it's not.
Guy.
It's not is it Christopher Lee?
Oh, yeah, could be. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we
Dooku,
don't know
it's
what
young.
this
It could be
is.
young Dooku.
Yaddle, right? So it could be young Dooku, Yaddle, uh, Plo Koon, Kiado Mundi, Kit Fisto,
You're good with
and
the
then
names,
that
Mark.
chick, Shakti,
Yeah. And
and
you
that's like
like
a
you
that's
almost
like a
know her.
young. It's a
Anakin,
young
right?
Obi-Wan.
Oh, is that Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I think that's young
My picture's
Obi.
not that big.
That's what she said.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
You love it.
doesn't make any sense.
That's what she said.
Legacy of Vader. So, I mean, I feel like this book was happening for a while. No, that they
I
were
don't know.
doing like a. I thought it
It
was
all
called something else
it all
before.
blends together. There's been so much. It just blends.
Yeah, but this isn't even the stuff that's happening because there's going to be that new Star Wars book, which is going to be the Alex Segura book, which is going to be post Jedi
Right.
with different costumes.
I
Who
hope
was
it's good. I really hope Alex Segura really
was it
brings it.
Kirkman talking about costumes? Was that Kirkman on Liefeld's podcast talking about costumes about the Star Wars sequels? Someone recently was talking about the Star Wars
Yes.
sequels
Oh
and the
yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah. What a
sequels.
great.
What a great
Holy.
observation.
Yeah. What a great observation. That's why he's a writer.
His
That's why he's a.
observation basically was Ray was wearing the same outfit for three, that we used to really like getting the toys. There was a toy component to the first Star Wars. You had Farm Boy Luke, and then you had, X-Wing Luke, right? And then
And
you
you
had
had
Hoth
a
Luke,
stormtrooper Luke.
Stormtrooper
Yeah.
head Luke, swap
Yeah.
head Luke. Yeah. So I mean, like you had multiple you had three figures per
You kept
movie,
it really
kind of.
interesting. Yeah.
Right.
The movie moved along at that's such a good pace. Like, yeah, that was a really good observation.
What's funny about that is that last week when we talked about that Star Wars news with the Phil Noto covers, I'm just like, look at that white jacket that
Yeah.
Han Solo has on.
How
That was like the
exciting.
thing I was very excited about. But now I'm thinking about, like, yeah, if I
It's
had
like
a toy jacket, oh, this is the post, because you're kind of referencing it and say, like, this is not what you know. It's what you know,
you know,
but it's not what you know. You know what I
sadly,
mean?
it's Malibu Stacy gets a new hat,
That's
you
okay.
know? Remember that
That's all right.
Simpsons?
A little bit. That
Oh,
was
it
an
was
early one.
yeah, it was good. Lisa had met I guess the creator of Barbie, Malibu
Oh
Stacy, or
wow.
whatever the name of the show
Top.
Barbie is.
Mhm.
And she finds her and they create a new doll. Because I think the Malibu Stacy doll was like, she pulls a string and it's just really condescending to women. Like, math is hard. Like
Oh
I always quote that.
boy.
Math is hard. And Lisa's all like horrified by it. So she finds the original creator and they create a new doll and they get all this hype and this doll's going to be the best seller. And then their Mattel in that universe goes, well, we got to do something crazy. We got to compete with this doll. This doll's going to take all our money. Like, and the guy's like, I got an idea. And basically the idea was they gave her a new hat, and all the Malibu Stacy fans were like, "Oh, she got a new hat," and they don't buy the new doll. They just all are focused on the fact that this traditional IP has a new hat. So it's
Uh,
actually become like a thing of like, oh, it's a new hat.
right.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
I
new
feel like that
hats,
reference,
you got a
it's
new
funny when
hat.
you say that. I feel like that reference to Malibu Stacey's new hat as actually like is
It's in
more
the zeitgeist.
replaced. Yeah, that's in the zeitgeist, but I was like, I don't know what that it's so in the zeitgeist, I don't even know what it's referencing, and I should
Yeah.
know. I don't know
How can you not remember that show from 30 years ago?
because I'm getting older
This
every
is
day.
probably my book of the week.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. I just again, we talked about I love math, right? I love math.
Yeah.
I don't understand where everyone is. So Dave Marquez on the regular Uncanny X-Men book has done maybe three, four issues. And I want to say that Stegman has done 4 out of 10, 40%. So
Right. He's
your
just
B Javier Garran doing Uncanny X-Men, I feel like has done more issues than the regular artist, A artist. And this A artist Stegman, the B artist, Neto Diaz. Uh, but even going back to last week when I talked about Dan Mora's second book, people just walking around talking, this was super effective. There's not a ton of action in this. There's only like 3 or 4 pages where there's actually like an action, and that was like going to a different setting. It's
yeah.
basically Cyclops arguing with a dude drinking beer,
Yeah. And
and it's exciting.
he gives them such a Succession level Jesse Eisenberg
Yeah, that's actually
tear
really
down,
good. Right,
you know.
right. Yeah. Um, I like. Is this so? These are the Hellions.
Yeah,
Was
these are the
was there
new
a Hellions
Hellions.
book? Did Jed McKay do that book? Who did that book?
I don't even know. Was there a Hellions book? There was a
Yeah, there
was
was a
there?
Hellions book. I think there was a Hellions book in the
There was a Hellions
Hickmangers.
book. Yeah, there
Yeah, in
was.
Krakoa. Because I didn't really understand who these people are. Of course, I know Phantom X. And who did the original Phantom X design? Do
Was
we
it
think that was?
Whiteley, Van Sciver, Cordy?
And then yeah, I mean one of those three did it,
Well,
but
well,
I feel like
honestly,
that design
I bet you it's
holds.
a I bet you it's actually a Grant Morrison design. I bet she actually penciled it out. Because
Could have, yeah.
he's a designer. He penciled out the crime syndicate. He gave
Mm,
Frank Whiteley a starting point for all the characters. He
right.
look how much stuff.
Right.
Look at the back of the All Star Superman. He's got some
Yeah,
design
yeah,
work in
yeah.
the back of that.
And coloring and concept coloring and design.
Yeah.
So, um,
So yeah, this could be a Grant Morrison design, or at least a starting point.
because
But
I
yeah,
kind of know some of these characters, but this was the main part of the issue. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying if you're having, there's a lot of stuff going on in these pages. But you're right. This is very, very Succession-esque.
I
You're
feel
not
like
listening.
this guy should be drinking only craft beers or IPAs. Like he's such a,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Just funny looking.
Lundquist.
Lundqvist.
Yeah, but like, look at I even zoomed in on it. Like, look at that. Does like that Phantom X design's the shit. It's so good.
Yeah.
Even the
What
Jimenez
is
do
it?
some of that too.
It's a guy in a trench coat.
Yeah,
Jimenez definitely came along. Now he came along later.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is
But
all great because like the way Cyclops breaks it down. Because everything, the hardest thing about being a comic writer, there's a lot of hard things about being a writer. But you got to realize these guys can do anything. They could take over the world, but they don't. And you got to control yourself to not have them do that. Flash is too powerful. Flash can do everything anywhere all at once, to quote that movie. So
mm,
you got to like write this book not thinking about that. So what McKay gets to do this issue is say, hey, this is what we can do. We're not an atom bomb, but we could drop the juggernaut from space. You know what that does,
mm,
Mark? We have theorized weapons, javelin type things, where like it would just do a ridiculous amount of damage dropping stuff from space.
mm.
Um, and then we have the Phoenix, and this guy's like, oh shit, like we can't wipe these guys out quick enough. Also, we can never seem to wipe them out because they always keep coming back. So
Right.
the fact that we don't want them as enemies, you can't tariff the X-Men. You don't want them as enemies. You want to do something better with them. You really got to work with them. Like the idea that they're not just working with them all the time is ridiculous. Like it's funny. So yeah, this is a great. He tears them down. This is what we can do. This is what we're doing right now. We're taking out every single one of your bases with like this X-Force
Mhm.
level Hellions. They're just like destroying everything.
Right.
They're the right
Right. Right.
team
Right.
that do the right amount of things. They're perfectly designed to do this mission. And we have 1,000 more people who can do the same. I don't
Yeah,
think
and
it
this
says that part.
kind of puts Scott in more of a strategic because he's doing all this and he's like, oh, by the way, the Hellions are go over here, and even at the end, which I didn't put that last couple pages in, he's talking to Kid Omega. Kid Omega's like, what am I doing here? I'm not doing anything, and she's like, I got something for you. Don't worry about it. Like, so it was even like kind of a sneaky thing at the end. I'm just like, oof.
You're
Um,
here. You're here for this reason. He's like,
yeah,
gulp.
yeah,
He might as
right.
well have his
So,
finger in his shirt, like gulp.
ooh,
I know.
do do the Norm Macdonald Letterman.
Yeah.
Ooh. Um, so it's funny you say this is your favorite, but see, like, but again, the action, the tension of this, I think, was ramped up, and I don't know who this guy is. I've only seen him draw this. I think he did do some Krakoa stuff in the mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. But like after I saw that, I'm like, that it felt like X-Force. It felt bad. It felt like this bad team. Well, Boom Boom, it didn't. That helped too. But looking at this team, kind of take apart stuff. I'm like, this looks awesome. Like that's a good
I've been
arrival, right?
I've been
Like,
following Jed McKay for a couple of years now, and he just keeps getting better. I feel like Jed McKay at Marvel and Jeremy Adams at DC are like the two guys to like kind of watch. They're
yeah, well,
similar
I
in writing
think
styles,
right.
and they know how to
Well,
bring stuff to stories.
you would figure like so McKay got the event, McKay got the blood hunt, and we
Which
were like, we don't want this, and it was just very good, and it didn't it could expand out, but none of the tie-ins were really that spectacular. But the main book was really good, where sometimes it gets too loose, and the main book is not that good.
mhm.
But that's probably a good trick, and they did a good job. I think they're probably gonna do. Of course, they'll do an omnibus, but I think that trade came out. That might be a good reread. Did they do Blood Hunt Red Band? So I guess they could have two trades. Does that sound right? They did.
That's a
They
good
did.
question. Would they do two trades? I don't know. That's a
Sure.
good question. Why not?
Do
I
a
guess
Red
they're going to
Band
do it. They're
trade.
probably, you know what? We'll find out when they do. They'll probably collect Wolverine Revenge first, right? Because that's almost over.
Yeah, but
Red
yeah,
Red
that
Band
that book's
edition,
so bad.
non-Red Band edition.
Yeah, that's putting too much on the. I feel like if you do the trade, you just might as well do. I don't know. Again, it depends on where. So this is my favorite issue of the week, this Dick Tracy issue. This I think
Okay.
was just it is. I think it was the best one so far. That's an amazing cover, an
Yeah.
amazing
Well,
Franco Bay cover, and that's
he's so
unreal.
good, dude.
That's really, really fun. But I think that I don't think I had an idea of what I believe the artwork should have looked like on this book, and
Right?
that I feel like I finally fell into the way it does look. I guess because there was tons of blood in this issue. It was really a bloody, bloody issue. But the team up and down, and I don't know exactly who all these people are. Why do we know Mark Englert? Why do you
Mark
know
Egler
Mark
drew
Englert?
capes for Robert Kirkman.
Hmm.
But since then, he's become an inker, a colorist. He still does coloring to this day.
He's coloring this. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's Corey Walker. He actually did a official poster for I think the first Jurassic World movie.
Oh
Um,
wow.
but yeah, he started off. He's an Eric Larson clone. He drew Savage
Right.
Dragon. God. He drew the Kirkman Savage Dragon miniseries. God War.
Right. That's where I'm thinking I remember his name.
Okay, but
Correct.
before that, he drew the Capes miniseries, which for all Invincible fans, for all everyone getting ready to watch the new Invincible show, the new season of Invincible, um, Capes was a three-issue miniseries where it was basically superheroes, kind of a heroes for hire, but they're like
Mhm.
union, they get time off, like it's really intricate. It didn't do well, sadly, but the Capes trade has not only the three-issue miniseries, but he did a series of backups in Invincible,
Mhm.
which then has their own story, but then leads into the Invincible story at the same time. So it's definitely worth checking out for Kirkman Invincible fans. Because you know what it
Yeah,
is,
I
Mark?
like
I don't mind selling things to people. Like if we love stuff, we want people to buy it.
well,
And
you remember that was my whole thing in the store. And I think I did it
yes,
one time when one of my managers or one of my owners, one of the co-owners were in. They're like, what did you just do? I'm like, no one's ever returning anything to me. Like I told him, I was like, yeah, man, hey, listen, money back guarantee, try this. And like based on the conviction of that, and I would even tell you guys to do that too. I'm like, give them money back guarantee. I think you even probably hand
I,
sold
I,
things.
I did, dude. If I love something, why do you think our store had such high Invincible Walking Dead numbers? You were gone. But like
Yeah.
me,
But when I was there, it
Pete
was
Hagen,
Starman,
me,
some
Pete
probably
Hagen and
some Vertigo
Milligan,
stuff. Mhm.
me, Pete Hagen and Milligan, we just sold the hell out of those books. We're like, this is the new thing. Like we love this. This is the Invincible Universe probably filled the hole left by like the Awesome Universe ending. Like Awesome Universe ended,
Right.
and I was like, I just got into everything possible. Like I bought
Hmm.
so much stuff looking for something as good as that universe. I mean, ABC came real close, but even that kind of
Right.
faltered out. You know what I sold a lot of in our store? You were there. We sold over 100 copies of Youngblood 1, the Alan Moore Stevens Gross. Mind
Oh
you,
yeah,
it
that's
had
right.
like 10 covers, and you sold
Yeah,
out.
that was an early multiple cover, but so cool. I mean, so cool that like yeah, we
It's a,
had at that time, you know,
that was a
there's a
really
lot.
good.
There's a lot
That's one of
there's
the.
a lot of copies.
That's a lot of copies for a Youngblood
I
book.
was yeah, I was trying to think if I don't remember. I think it was close to 100 when we had that was the 13 Gen 1313
Yeah,
and it was 13 covers, right?
right.
And then
Yeah,
they had
and
like a box set or something. I think
oh yeah,
uh
they sold all sorts of weird stuff. The box set. I always like my Barry Windsor Smith Storyteller slipcase where you could put these 10 oversized, which we never got all 10, but
mhm.
it was a nice slipcase box for your
Yeah.
seven that came out.
Yeah, I think 7 came out and then he printed most of the stories in various like Opus volumes. He
But
did
not
Barry
all
Windsor
of
Smith
them.
Opuses.
He
No,
didn't do all. He did like
he did
two
Young
out of four
Gods
Young Gods,
and Freebooters. I think. I think that those
Freebooters,
were the two.
and then
I
he
have
did that.
those over there, and I can't find just because I got them. I want to say for $2 a piece somewhere, and
Yeah,
I don't and but you can get the slipcase by itself for less than $60 to $70. And most time people are selling the slipcase and the set together for like 100. I'm like, but if I sell my 1 to 7, I'll get 20
$14.
bucks. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, yeah, exactly.
you could maybe get 20 or
So
30 selling them all together. I know.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, but I just have them like literally in between some books over there. So,
I sold
uh,
mine for a lot of money years ago because once eBay came out, dude, I got everything I ever missed. Those first 5 years on
right,
eBay, first 2 years on
right,
eBay,
right,
dude,
right.
I got everything I ever wanted. Even though we had
Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean
of comic
that's
stores in New Jersey, like there was just stuff you couldn't find.
no, I like that. I think my Dead Air I bought on eBay because the first Howard graphic novel was I think was Slave
I
Labor.
I don't think so. I feel like you got it off someone and you gave him like $100 for it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I had a standing order. There was a guy who played Magic, Magic cards, and he would look at Magic cards, and but he would buy Madman comics. And I mentioned something to him. I was like, "Man, I'm trying to find Dead Air." He's like, "Oh, I have it." That's right. Yeah, I gave him $100 for it.
And
And one day he's like, I need $100. Isn't that funny? Like I had my own mental price for it, and this guy's like, I need $100 more than I need this dumb book,
within a year,
and I'm like,
I
here,
think it showed up on eBay and I got it for like 20 or $30.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Mark, I only got it for like $25 or something. You're like,
I'm like,
doesn't matter. You're like, I read it a year ago. I'm like, all right, that's a good
right,
argument.
right, right.
That's what you
Yeah, but
told yourself.
I sold that and the Citizen Nocturne trade this year for like I think 140 something like the two of those
Yeah.
together.
Okay.
So that's what's cool. So again,
So he's
you know,
colored Dead Air and put it in like Laura, his wife colored it
yes,
totally
yeah,
for this. If you're gonna color old
hmm
black and white stuff, get your wife to do it. Like that's great.
hmm
We had talked in previous episodes about women have a better eye for color, which
hmm
Mike Allred totally cashed in on. Like you can't get better than having your wife color your comics. You know, like first off, she's getting something to do. She gets to participate in what you love, and you as a family, that's net income. You know, she's getting
right,
paid,
right.
or you don't have to pay her. You know,
But some of the yeah, we got Glennis Ween, Len Ween's wife,
right?
Tanaja
Tatiana
Wood.
Wood, right? Or
Yeah,
Tajana, I forget her first name. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. I mean, look at Terry
Wally
Dodson
Woods.
got Rachel to be his anchor. You know, who'd have thought that?
Right, and that was
What a different
continual.
line. Continual, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's still
Terry
now.
Stuart Inman got his wife to be a writer. You know, does she ink too? What else does she do? She do anything
I
else or
think
just
she
write
did
with them?
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's still
So,
writing. Um, well,
so that's all
I
smart
think I
moves.
got, I think I got the weight. I think there's a couple things going on this. I think the way Dick Tracy is treated in on the force by others, out in public. Um, with here's Breathless Mahoney. He's not solving anything. He's very frustrated this whole issue, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
There's tons of stuff going
What's
on.
Jay Jonah
This is
doing
really
there?
frightening. Kill him. He's dead. Um,
I mean,
yeah,
pictures of
I
Spider-Man.
love this. I love this uh, stance. I think it looks
Yes.
very Chaykin. And he doesn't do, of course, he doesn't. I mean, he does a little bit like this here with the nose. That's probably the closest to the extreme.
Yes.
Uh, but Borges. So I don't know exactly the decision to pick this guy, but for whatever
Does
reason, there's a really good horror in this too. It's horrible.
yeah.
But him going around with the captain. But I kind of remember. I remember because I had. Do you remember in after Dick Tracy came out, there was a reprint. I still have it. It's like the complete case files of Dick Tracy, and it was just a
Okay.
bunch of strips, and they split them up by the character. So after you saw the Dick Tracy movie, it was Prune Face, the blank, but they had him, and it would say Dick Tracy. It was the strips. It was the Chester Gold strips, and then you can read just like the characters, and the characters would be 2, 3 months of strips, and it was like
You
that was it.
it was fun because at that time our newspaper wasn't carrying Dick Tracy locally. And when the movie started ramping up, they started carrying Dick Tracy. I'm like, this is so much fun.
Right.
But then the movie doesn't do as well as expected. And I think within a year, I think Dick Tracy comic strips in our newspapers locally, it's only stuck around for about a year. But they're still
Well, the weird thing
going
is,
now, right?
yeah, I forget who's doing it now. I don't know if it's Max Allen Collins, I think is writing it. I forget
He
who's
did
working
it.
on it now.
He did it for a long time. I love all that
Yeah,
story, all the Max Collins stuff. Max, did you get to meet Chester Gold or somebody? I think the
I
current
think
artist
so.
maybe worked underneath of him. I don't know. It was pretty interesting stuff. I kind of forget it all. So Warren Beatty still owns the rights for anything. Because wasn't Bendis and Oming, were they working on a comic that was going to be adapted into an animation? and then like they
There is an
couldn't.
Omen comic. There's an Allard written
There's a
Omen
newer one,
comic.
but this is an
Yeah.
older. This goes back about 10 years, I think.
Okay. I don't know.
But they were doing it to set up a new media thing, but like then they couldn't do it because Warren Beatty still owns a good amount of the rights. And I
He owns
guess
something in media, and he has to do something every 7 to 10 years. And what he does is really odd. He goes on Turner Classic Movies, and he gets like Leonard Maltin or somebody to interview him as Dick Tracy. He's done at least two of them, maybe three. And the one recently, he had Warren Beatty interviewing Warren Beatty as Dick Tracy. And there was some other, there's, I think Ben Mankiewicz. Then there always has to be like an extra element, but it has to be on broadcast TV. They're on YouTube. They're strange. They're very strange. I think the last one you talked about iPhones and stuff, like it sounds, I think they mentioned something about the phone,
right,
the
right.
watch phone, and they make a joke about it. And it's
It's
just
very
like, why? Just let it go, man. What are you doing?
so Gilbert Gottfried tells a story about how he was up for the part of Mumbles for Dick Tracy. Like Warren Beatty, like he
Mm.
he knew him a little bit. He's like, oh, you're gonna be Mumbles, Gilbert. I can't picture anyone
Oh,
else doing this character but you. And Gilbert's
except
like,
for
oh, that's awesome.
Mumbles was
Well,
Dustin
yeah.
Hoffman.
The rest of the story is then I seen an interview with Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin Hoffman's like, oh yeah, Warren Beatty came to me and said, listen, I wasn't gonna put this character in a movie, but if you can play him, I'll put him in the movie because I can't picture anyone else playing this character but you.
Oh my
So
God.
I think Gilbert's like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, I know. I'm not gonna compete. The only time, Dustin Hoffman and I will ever be in the same sentence is that Gilbert Gottfried
Right,
lost
right,
a
right.
part of Mumbles and Dick Tracy to Dustin Hoffman.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
And I wish
Um,
but Gilbert never heard the Dustin Hoffman story. And I wish I could have gotten him that story. Because there was another time
right.
they were talking about Marty Feldman on the Gilbert show and like how he like he died during the filming of Yellowbeard, you know, but like Sergio Aragonés has this incredible story of meeting him while he was filming Yellowbeard. And Sergio Aragonés feels like he brought on the death of Marty Feldman because he shocked him so much. Like, because Sergio Aragonés is like a big guy. Marty Feldman's this, little English guy. And like, I don't know how tall he is, but like definitely small in comparison to Sergio Aragonés. So Sergio Aragonés does a whole story and he worries like he gave him like the heart attack, or something.
Oh my God. From what? Oh
It's
my
it's in, it
God.
might be in his Sergio Aragonés funniest book.
Oh, that's
Totally,
right. Yeah.
totally a great book. Was that Bongo or was that Dark Horse? I feel like it was like
Mm,
something different, like it wasn't
yeah,
the Dark Horse book.
I think it was Bongo.
Great, great
Um,
book, dude. He's like one of the last Mad Magazine guys around. Like
yeah,
like
what
he
I'm
like
trying to think what I saw recently. What was the Mangor? Mighty Mangor?
yeah, the Mighty Magnor. Are they
Magnor.
they ever
I
they
just
should
saw it in the
collect
dollar
that,
bin.
dude. They
Yeah.
should collect that. That was the first pop-up cover. Remember that?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
That was through Malibu. I think while they were
First.
doing Image.
I think that's right. Yeah, there was a lot of things. I think the one thing this character is she has like a scar on her eye, which I don't remember if they went into an origin of that. I'm expecting almost like a just a single issue with her in it, like an
Okay.
origin of her or something. But that's like the insert, like the Mike Morisi / Alex Segura insert character, which I normally have an issue with, but I think that it's done really well here, so I'm fine with Lady Cop. Silverhawks. Now this is actually kind of funny because last night I read this and I said, I think in a way this book fails in the way that when I was speaking of the Green Lantern Corps, that there should have been like a lead up book, or maybe this should have been Silverhawks Zero, maybe this should be a free comic book day or something, because Silverhawks are not in this book. Spoilers.
Yes.
It also rearranges the timeline a little bit too, because after this book, I watched Silverhawks, which is not streaming anywhere, but you can go on to something, a Daily Motion, I think, dailymotiontv.com.
Oh yeah, they're not just
You
on YouTube.
can, nope,
Huh.
everything
Usually
is
everything's
taken
on YouTube.
down. They have clips, they have some where you can watch like 4 minute clips and it goes to the next, the next, the next, but I couldn't find episode one, so I just went on the interwebs, Daily Motion TV, Airplay. So I watched the first episode of Silverhawks, which is, can you explain to me what partly metal, partly real means? What does partly real mean? And they say it in the show. They say it in here, and I'm like, what's partly real?
My
Is
guess
metal
is
not
it's
real?
metal. It's metal that
They mean like
feels like
flesh, I
flesh.
think.
Yeah. It's as strong as metal,
Partly
but
metal,
like
partly real.
Yeah. So go back to the first cover. So first off, not a huge Silverhawks fan. Just I was kind of aging out when that
This is
cartoon
cover
came
A.
on. I
Yeah.
watched a couple. Who? Oh, it's Perillo. Okay. Looked a little like Clayton Crane, but Clayton Crane's like disappeared.
Yeah,
Semi
I think this
not
is a
canceled,
bad.
but I think he like just did weird stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a bad cover A. Um, I feel
Yeah,
like this
yeah,
should be cover A,
100%. It's your
or
biggest
this
guy.
is cover B. Like, but there's your
I love it.
James Stocco coloring himself.
God.
But the logo's really strong. Uh, Logo I feel could be bigger there as usual, but that's fine. There's a Declan cover. That's
Cool.
really good, real
Super
tight.
smart.
That could be
Keep it
number
in.
one. That could be A. But this artist, this Cambades,
Cambadius?
whatever. Sure. I thought all the art's really good. I thought
It's
that
tight.
the story.
It's like an early Francis Manipul, or this
I
looks a manga-ish. Looks
Yeah, I
manga-ish.
think. But this
I mean, he
character.
always
So
looked
what's
manga-ish.
funny? Yeah, what's funny with this is that there's the other character, which I think I did a screenshot. No, maybe not. There's like
The
another
guy who frees him.
character. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I did. But he looks like he's like it's like a different type of drawing. It's like a real flat character drawing. Yeah, he's like yellow. Um, but no, I think like the action in the middle was really good. I just think that, and this is almost verbatim. I don't know if that was a screen grab,
So,
but
so this
that's
comic takes
exactly.
place 100 years after the show theoretically ends.
Hmm.
Is that what I'm kind of
Yep.
getting? Okay, so everyone's just immortal-ish. They're all aging at
Right.
a slow rate, I guess, thanks to the real and the metal mixture. All the Silverhawks. This is the Silverhawks that we know from the show. They're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
older, so they're going to have new Silverhawks and them as old Silverhawks, I guess.
I'm not sure.
And
Yeah.
was this guy like in some sort of suspended animation, or did they just fix him?
Y- Yeah, I'm a little lost in the end of it. Uh, I don't know. Like this felt like a completely different continuity, so I'm not sure. So I only confused myself more when I watched the Silverhawks. Now that being said, Silverhawks was kind of open when I was watching, and I was like, you can take a lot of liberties here. You can do a lot of maneuvering of this stuff, and I think
Yeah,
you're okay.
there's a
So
really good parody of Silverhawks. If you watch Solar Opposites, they made these B and C stories. Thank you. Um, and they created this team called the Silver Cops, and they're just like kind of the Green Lanterns of the universe, but they're very
mm,
Silverhawks inspired. It's really Solar Opposites is a really good show. Um, so I don't know, it's just kind of funny. Silver Cops, and that's what they are.
Silver Cops. So if this was a zero or if this was a free comic day, I would be okay. But so number one, it was kind of tough. I just kind of put in some of the art from this guy's just getting so much work. Mark Spears is just getting like a ridiculous amount of
He
work right
is,
now.
dude. I hope he's
Um,
fast. I hope, and I also hope it's not AI or AI inspired.
no, I don't think it is, but I think he does an alternate for this. So this issue of Thundercats was
This is
excellent.
your Perillo cover. Perillo is another artist. Um, who drew Marvel? Who drew Secret War? That was the Bendis
Gabriel Del Otto, does that sound right?
Delato. Yeah,
Hmm.
Delato is like the A, and Perillo was like his backup. Like he had a very similar
Right,
style to him back then. I haven't
that's
seen
right. Yeah,
Delato lately, but I really did like his style. But yeah, Perillo's another Dynamite regular, like Jay
but
Lee.
I what's funny is like looking at these came out the same week, right? So you
Look
have
at him
your
pants. They look like grandpa pants.
you have well, he's grandpa. He's
He
Panther's
is.
grandpa
And
technically.
and the guy the actor who did his voice, I think I told you on a prior episode, was the guy who played Bill Cosby's father on the Cosby Show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did a lot. He did a lot of work. He did a lot of work. A lot of voice work. Um, but it's funny. Like you have some works come out, and you have a Prio, Lee, Declan, right?
Yeah.
Declan was then maybe covered D. Here you have A
That's because
Prio
it's his name,
again,
Declan. Declan's like, listen, my name's Declan, begins with a D. I can only do cover Ds.
only covered D.
And
But
then he turns around and he goes,
this
D's
has it.
nuts. And
Oh
then
boy.
Baruchi's like, oh, Declan. Oh, he goes,
Uh,
and D stands for D's nuts, because he's Scottish, right? He doesn't
yes.
talk like that.
I don't know.
I listened to
I
him.
think there's a couple live streams I think of him being interviewed.
Yeah.
But I wonder, it's so funny. Like, I don't know if it's like what do they roll the dice? They're like, all right, all A covers go to Frio this month. You know what I mean? All B and
Yeah,
C can
right,
go
right.
to whoever. And I don't
This
know.
is pretty badass looking.
Yeah, that's much bigger than the Lino in the book. Well, the Lino in the
It's
book is just not in the book. He's basically in like a mummy. He's
Yeah, he's
captured,
not in this issue.
which is kind of great.
He's really come into his own on this book. Like I didn't feel like the first couple issues were very special, but like the more it went along, it just got better and better.
This is Drew Moss, yeah. Um, I think the coloring definitely helps it. This was there's a lot of mood. And
Yeah.
I think of that when I watch the show too. There's a lot of like spookiness and mood. So you have a lot of stuff going on. This felt very much like Declan drew this almost, or maybe he didn't, but it felt very, very close to that because he has the kind of squat appearance people and all that. But I think it's kind of funny that no one's accounting for it because what you got to remember is Lionel is like a 14-year-old kid.
Yes.
And he was in suspended animation, but the animation on his body didn't work, but his brain is like 13, 14, which is also probably why it resonates with most people because we were 13 or 14 when this came out, or less, actually younger than that.
We were less,
Uh,
and you were even
yeah,
lesser.
I was even lesser. But I like
What do you
this
think? What do you think?
the
What do you think?
most.
Thundercats, 84, 85.
85.
So I mean, that was
It's
nine,
definitely
and
85.
you were eight. So that's math. You love math. You should have been like Rob.
I do love math.
Math is Bond.
Math is Bond. So here's the one Lion-O picture, which is funny, which is
It's
great.
it's Lion Eye.
And I
Wow.
actually looked up, so I recognize this design, and I thought about it. Now, I don't know if this was after the Dark Crystal, but having like a vulture type of like Skeksis type of
Yeah.
character, and he talked like the Skeksis. If you go on, I went right on YouTube and I looked this up, and I'm like Vulture Man, and I remember it's like Vulture Man. It sounds horrible. It's frightening.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Or
that that
I used to
that
bug me as a
hmm
kid.
is
Hmm.
very unsettling. That movie's
Yeah.
very unsettling.
It
Yeah,
is
there's a lot.
unsettling.
That movie's very unsettling because
Oh my
again,
God.
we're watching nothing but puppets. Like we're watching, there's no human. That's it. There's no
There's
human,
no
and
humans.
so it was. I think it was very, very different. It wasn't. They weren't soft. Probably around. Like wasn't like Emmett Otter Jug Band Christmas, right? Where everyone's like kind of soft and kind of friendly looking. There was really no friendlies at all. I guess Kira might have been the most friendly,
Yeah.
which is so funny. Like you watch it and they're like, look at this
Did you?
beautiful girl, and you're like, okay, like
I
it's
mean, I would date her if I were like a puppet
if I was
gelfling.
if I was a
If
puppet
I
gelfling.
was a gelfling, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure she's hot. She's
So here you
gelfling.
go. Here's more Mark Spears,
Mark
right? More Mark
Spears.
Spears. So yeah, I imagine that like, look, get paid while you can get paid. But he has a book. I want to say it's coming out through Keenspot, but I think it's like Mark Spears Monsters. And it's like all Universal Monstery type of thing. So good, get paid, get paid. It's tough. This was kind of neat. That there was. I mean, listen, we've been talking about the majority of these books just seem to be uh licensed books, but all licensed books are really, really good.
Yeah. No, they all
Um,
the licensed books are really good right now.
all of them, and it's we keep saying that they didn't used to be. I guess this IDW, to me it looks like a WD. Like I guess I'm getting more used to it. They went right in on it. They went right
Yeah.
in on it.
Good colors. I like the
Um,
colors on that cover. Is that the A cover?
yep,
Hey, sit
yep.
on it.
Yeah, it's where Fornes is the A cover, and then Ferreira gets the B cover. So I just feel like as Ferreira is technically the main artist, I just feel like he should have the A cover. But we always fight about that.
Because this art's actually really good. The colors are really good.
This is the
Colors
best
are really good.
artist. Yeah. Well, he does everything up and down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like the first time I saw him, and I think I've sent it to you before, the best book he's ever done. More so because I think Ram V even, or no, but I think it was Saladin Ahmed did the Spine Tingling Spider-Man, the Spine Tingling Spider-Man
Oh yeah.
Infinity book on the Marvel app uses the format really well. But the first time I saw this guy, it was on a book I think called Colder. Um, it was
Oh,
a Dark
okay.
Horse
Yeah.
book, and it
I
was
remember that.
creepy. And
Yeah.
then it had like
I
the
like
guy's
that.
fingers in the face and stuff. It was
That
just
was really
creepy.
I love that image.
Yeah.
Who
Ugh.
who did that the best? I'm trying to think who I can't remember who did. Larson did. The Fiend in like issue 13 of Dragon or something.
Right, right.
Puts her fingers and it
But
just goes along in between his but it goes underneath the skin but over top of the skull.
yeah, ugh.
I
Yeah, no
know, it was
good.
really
So,
good, dude. I was trying I could
um,
picture that in my head. No, but Calder did it really good too.
yeah, but I
And
wonder. Speaking
I
of
didn't
the lettering,
realize
so I don't know
I didn't
if.
do the research to see that that was this artist.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that like again, this is the type of stuff like this guy could be in the running. We should probably maybe end of year do like a top artist up and down, right? So like for example, like this would be the top artist up and down because he's doing everything. He's doing pencils and colors, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with Mikel Janin, like who I mean, they don't have to really be best, but this is pretty miraculous. But you also have, and even like Jorge Corona, well, he would just maybe speak right pencil inker. But I imagine that he's doing this. I don't feel that the letterer was doing that just because that seems very placed as the
Yeah,
sock here,
cracked
the
is
crack
very placed.
there,
Yeah.
the shuck is very placed.
Shh.
Um, so you have this here. It's a really strange
And the
dynamic because they're
rooms
all
as
back
well.
together
The rooms
and
at a
and
motorcycle.
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that like they all seem correct. That perspective is unreal. And then have the panels on the top of the building. Come on, man. Nobody's doing anything like this,
You know, Mark, crazy. I wonder if this is like a trend. Like right now, it's like the artist is a fully realized thing. He's penciling, inking, coloring,
Mhm.
doing some lettering. But like in the 80s, it was always about being the writer artist, the writer penciler,
Yep.
and some of the pencilers tried inking and some didn't. But like this is the new thing to do. Like it's just like you said, the detective artist is doing this, and like other people are doing this, and it looks really good. It's such a fully realized piece of art. Like climbing up the building and then using the building top as panels. That's a lot
Right.
of thought.
I don't think Jason Aaron. I mean, again, if you look at the layouts here, the layouts aren't. I don't know if Jason Aaron.
He did not write use the building top. You know what I mean?
No, no, no. He's like, and it could just be that it's four sentences. It might even be four panels. So it might just be like, I don't know. It depends on how he's writing this. I'm not sure. I feel like I've seen. It might be in one of the Thor, the buy or whatever. I think I might have seen a Jason Aaron script somewhere along the line, but I'm not sure how. Maybe in a scalped issue or something. But I feel like if he was giving it to someone, it might be more
You know,
open, and then they can.
Scalped is probably the only Jason Aaron book I haven't read. I've read everything else
It's
Jason
difficult.
Aaron except for Scalped.
I think it's difficult. I've only read the first two storylines because it's depressing. And I think in the time of life I was reading it, if you can imagine, I was in some type of distress. And I said, maybe I shouldn't be reading this right now.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
need something a little happier. I keep trying to get my daughters to watch like Airplane or Airplane 2 because they've never seen Airplane 2. And Airplane 2 is not by Zucker Abrams
The
Zucker,
Zucker
but
Brother,
still
yeah.
very good.
Yeah,
Still
it's still
very
got
good,
some
though.
it's got National Lampoon writers doing it, you know?
Oh, I see. Okay. Um, But even this, like this was kind of confusing because I'm like, wait a second, these are firefighters, and then it goes further in. Oh, that's right. They have a very small interlude, but basically she's trying to visit him, but can't because the foot soldiers are outside. The foot soldier cops, is that right? And then
Yeah,
the cops
yeah,
get
Foot
get
Soldier.
get called away. She goes in to see him, and this is kind of like because she becomes Casey Jones in Last Ronin, right? So this is a little
Yeah.
not necessarily continuity, but she might pick up the mantle a little bit here. You just keep fighting Casey, and so will I. And she's holding, uh, I mean, do you think this guy? I just carry it wherever I go. I got this bag wherever I go.
Well,
So I mean, that makes
I don't think the
sense, but
hospital would leave there.
God, look at how like kind of like to the coloring on this, and then it goes right to this, it's like boom, like it's so impactful,
Yeah.
having this red and these lines. I don't know I'm not sure exactly how he's doing it. I felt like when I saw his artwork previously, like is he doing pastels back there? Like I don't know how he's doing this. I'm not really sure
I don't know.
how it's
We'll have to I wonder if he is English. Like does he speak English? I don't know if he's foreign.
right.
We see the name, we're like, I don't know. We grab these creators from all over the world now.
So
The
sad,
internet.
man. This is so sad.
I know, dude.
So basically the backstory with Donatello is he was basically put in like seclusion, and just went and started to go crazy and just has like a dead rat who's talking to him,
Yeah.
and his only way
He
is
was
his
just
only
forced to fight
solace.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
for
only
months.
solace. He's in like a fight club. He's in like
Yeah. A
um
mutanimal fight club
right,
where
right. Not even that.
people paid to fight mutants and maybe kill them sometimes.
Yeah.
And he kept fighting everyone so no one else would get killed. Which is a super awesome move. Yeah, Jason Aaron's doing a good job with this. I don't think the sales on this are as good as they want it to be, but the sales are still really good.
Yeah, I hope so. And it's funny because like they were trying to really hammer in the artists. They were like Albuquerque, Joel Jones, Chris Burnham, and then they're like, and you would say like, oh, well now here's the regular artist because he can, he'll be able to keep up, right? Because those people aren't really on time. This guy's doing the most work. Joel Jones is drawing. pencil
Right.
inks, not colors. Everyone else is drawing pencil inks, not colors. Albuquerque's ain't doing colors. Nobody doing colors. I don't think Manipul is doing this. Manipul does colors. Manipul didn't touch this, I don't believe. But I'm trying to
You
think
know
of the
who did
third
a really good
person.
Turtles cover back in the day? Dreamwave had the rights to Turtles for a minute, like 6 issues. Peter David wrote it. The artist just
Ooh,
totally
I don't
slipped me.
remember that at all. Holy crap, I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah, they had 6 issues, and the first issue
Huh.
has an awesome Pat Lee Turtles cover. At least me remembering 20 years ago, Pat Lee. Um, he did a really good Turtles cover. Sean, no, who the hell was the artist? I
Sean
forget.
Crystal.
No, like one of those guys, and had a like the Bitterroot artist kind of style.
Like a Sanford Green. Not Sean
Yes,
Martin Barrow.
yeah, I want to say it's like a Sean LeDrew or something. I kind of forget. I don't think that's
Hmm.
right.
I do like that all four turtles have different stances. They all have different body types. They're all quite different. I wonder eventually if Donatello's going to fill back up a little bit. I mean, he
Yeah, I'm,
was
I'm
hungry
sure
up
he
for
will
sure.
once he starts.
A good look out, but Raph is the bruiser. So, but I don't feel like any of the turtles. You're doing the animatronics for the movie. You might have different heads, but you almost had like four of the same turtle, right?
Yes.
You don't have to do that, but like, so I kind of feel like having like Raphael with this like much more muscular bruiser, almost a little
No, I think
taller.
that's I think that's a really good move.
Mikey's the party dude. Oh, by the way, go on to I think I told you this before. If you go on to YouTube, you can see the original storyboard. Somebody did a comparison. They have Peter Chung's original storyboards. And he does some type of dance, but he's not like a disco or something like that. Like I forget where he was, or I
For
think there
for
was
the
something
for the live
else.
action movie?
No, 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 for the theme, for the theme song in the beginning. So the opening
Oh,
theme
oh
was
the
is
oh the
Peter
original
Chung.
80s
Hmm.
theme? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Peter Chung doing the storyboards, and so pretty much, and he did a lot of the animation at the time. But that, what would you say if you had to rank the openings? If you had to rank openings, GI Joe, Thundercats, Turtles,
Oh,
Silverhawks is still pretty good too. Like, what
yeah.
would you say your number one is?
For me personally, it's the second season Transformers theme, not the one that's electronic, but they did another one that's not electronic. Because the first
Mm,
one, we all know the first one. It's very like the Transformers, and the second
mm,
one they had this electronic one, Transformers.
mm.
But then
Right.
they redid it to sound regular, and it's got the good rock beat behind it. But like that's just me because I love Transformers the most.
Mm.
But like the Turtles and Thundercats themes are really perfect. They're really
Yeah.
good. The songs are good. The songs are great. And the animation's really good. The animation's so
Yeah.
good.
But I meant like the animation. Like, what do you think is your favorite animation out of like those four or five?
It comes down between Turtles and Thundercats. I don't think I could make. I'm not looking at it
Yeah.
right this second, but like definitely between those two.
Oh, yeah, that's probably
I mean,
they're
do you
tied.
agree? Do you agree? Like
No,
it's
I
got to
agree.
be.
Yeah, those are the best ones. Those are the best ones. GI Joe I remember a bit, but GI Joe and Transformers because they've changed over the years and they were always consistent. He-Man I remember quite a bit too, but I
He-Man's
feel
good,
like action wise the
but they
I
were
don't
all
know.
good. Bionic Six had a good opening. You know,
Bionic 6. Ooh,
ooh,
yeah.
ooh. Jason, the Wheeled Warriors, the Spiral
Mm.
Zone, the Dino
Ooh, I
Saucers had a
have
great theme.
who did
Dino Saucer.
I
Denver the
have
Last
Spiral Zone
Dinosaur.
comics.
Denver the Last Dinosaur had a good theme.
Yeah, if you
Denver
you can
the
go on
Last Dinosaur.
you can go on the YouTube and just look up, you know, best 80s themes and just watch them.
They're just they're just great from one to the next to the next.
Yeah.
They all pop. They all are all good.
Yeah.
Mask had a good theme.
Yeah. Uh yeah, again, like this is the last page. Like there's no every page is a banger in there, man. Every page. Look at that. Just everything. And it's not as if he has I don't know if he did separate drawings for these things because they're not you could have cheated and just had I don't think these are drawings from the previous issues, right? You could have.
Yeah,
You could have cheated here. I'm not really sure. It doesn't seem so. They all seem to be maybe they are. I can't really. They're not they're pretty much ingrained. They're not pasted on top, which is nice because I feel like a lot of times when they do something like this, they're just like paste. Like it's much. They seem to be worked over, or at least were given. So I feel like he might have put them in. Um, yeah, I can't really tell. But again, really, really fun. One of my favorites. And that's, I believe, Jeff Decal next issue.
It's really good.
Or no, that's one for our doing next issue. Or that's this issue. Yeah, 6. Yeah. So he did cover, I don't know if I have it up there, cover B or C. I don't know. You probably did not read this, right? I don't
I
know if
read
you
it.
knew. Did you? Okay.
You put it on the
Um,
list. I'm like, yeah,
th
I'll read that.
this was less, and again, I still want to kind of dig around and see. I know they're not from here, but love this energy. I love all of this. This feels very much like, again, feels like Sledgehammer 44. It feels,
Yes.
again, so what we're speaking of here is Long Cold Winter #2. Um, this is the second series I've seen by these guys, Francesco Perillo, Stefano Carticelli, and letter by Lorenzo Scaramella. So I feel like all of it is it's foreign from something. I'm not really sure. It looks like that's their copyright, published by Mad Cave. Yeah, I don't know. I'm super impressed with a lot of the Mad Cave stuff. And there was something in the back of this too, which had a preview of something else. And I looked at it and it looked pretty good. There was also something I was looking at, and something else, and there was a Mad Cave book a couple years ago called Battle Cats. Did you ever look at that?
Yes. Yeah.
Was
I
that any
didn't read
good?
it, but
Because
I definitely
it looked good
it
though. The
looks
art
good.
would look really good.
Yeah.
So I guess
I wonder
they didn't have the
I
rights to
never
Transformers or Thundercats
Thundercats.
rather.
Yeah, I wonder if it's their attempt at doing that, you know?
It seemed like the same archetype of team. So I think a little. Um, but I love the eyes here. When I first saw it, I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" It just seemed a little disturbing. And again, this artist is much similar to the guy who did that book Helena Crush. I mentioned that before. Also really good, and he did a couple books for Magnola. Um, but just really, really unsettling. Um, this feels so much, the energy of it just feels so chaotic. It's Bisley, it's Jamie Hewlett, it
Hmm.
just feels very Tank Girl. I just really, really enjoyed the chaos of it. It just made me feel like, oh, that's right. Comics can also be this, as
Yeah,
much as we stay in. So they could be, just think about the first thing we reviewed, right? It's a very traditional Superman book. There's Superman
right.
with spit curl, with like the perfect S, the perfect angle, the perfect inking, the perfect, he's floating. You're not like, that is he floating in air? He's flying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then you have something like this, which is just pure visceral, crazy speed lines, dirt, lines coming off the panel here, off the inks. Like, it's just sloppy, but it's great. It's so good. This is very, very, very inspiring. Like when I look at these colors and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, it makes me want to just, you know, whip out my iPad,
No,
except they
you
whip out
should be.
something else.
Don't.
Um,
No tiny
but
whipping
yeah,
today.
and there's like the next issue cover. It looks insane. And I
Yeah.
guess his arm's chopped off. Like, come on, man. Like maybe he had to amputate his arm to keep going. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, that's it for my reviews, man. Just crazy. Just again, what's kind of funny is even not even really trying. Like it went from the most organized, perfect point A to point B to point C book to this book, which was just nothing but like pure chaos, up and down, production. Yeah, listen, that's what we love about comics, man. That's the full spectrum right there, man. This is no IP. This is nothing that I really have any relation to, but I care about what's going to go on, what's happening, the stakes, and just I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's the same story. It's Lone Wolf and Cub. I got to take this guy over there, little kid. Okay, it's not that different than most of the stuff that we've read, but
Yeah.
but you stylize it out to such a degree and you keep it moving. Like Francesco Perillo, it kind of reminds me of yeah, like what was it Kyoko Koizei who wrote Lone Wolf and Cub? Wasn't really about the traditions of the town to town. It was more about like we got to keep this moving, keep it going. So it's interesting. I mean, again, I think that's why we love comics so much, the variety of it. I can read this the same week as I read the sixth issue, which was different than the previous 5 issues of Teenage Mutant Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles. I can read variations and I'm not mad at them. Sometimes so go to Hellhunters, you go into the Marvel. So like the only Marvel book, the two Marvel books we liked are untraditional X-Men and a ragtag team, which is variations of characters we know, right?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. It's a pretty fun week. Fifth weeks, as we want to explain, they're usually a dumping ground for whatever's around. Annuals that suck. Just
Right.
so having a fifth week.
Annual specials, a mini series sometimes.
I texted you earlier in the week and said I don't really care about any of the reviews this week. They're probably going to be fast, not fast as
We don't
usual,
we don't
and
believe it. We don't believe in that.
no, but we also don't believe it. Like, oh well, I guess we'll get through it. I enjoyed this week probably more than most just because of the variety. I can't believe these books, man. These licensed books are out of control. They're so friggin' good. That Thundercats book is great. That new character, which you'd almost like kick out and not like for Thundercats, is great. And her talking to Jaga, perfect. Why is Jaga able to talk to him? That was a question. Answer. So Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's all correct. Like it all feels really really good. So yeah, really good. Again, another perk on the show we didn't realize was going to happen is that now we are almost forced to read the books in a way, but that's making us like reinvigorated on the books and the continuity and the variety. This is a variety week, man. Really fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Really
all over
fun.
the place. Definitely a lot of cool things.
Yeah,
So
that's it for me.
that's the
Did I
reviews.
miss?
I don't have
Yeah.
anything. I don't have anything new that I read. Just old stuff basically. So
What's your? So I'm going through. I'm trying to go and piece together some 100 bullets. I want to rotate either a Conan or something or other. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I should read like a Savage Sword every day. The scans of like the Savage Swords, because the omnibus that they put out, they're not complete. They're not. They don't have every story because there's different copyright, different stories in there. There's some Red Sonja, there's some Michael Moorcock stuff. So I might go back and read the scans of the Savage Sword every day. Um, what are you digging? What are you reading? What are you going
um
back to?
I started reading Solar, Man of the Atom. I we were talking about Barry Windsor
Oh yeah,
Smith like we do from time to time. I'm like, I want to read his Solar Zero. Like they ran a like in the Valiant first Solar comic, every issue would have like 10 pages
gimmick.
of like an issue zero that was drawn by Barry Windsor
Mm,
Smith. So when they collected the first trade, they put all those short stories into one big issue. And I had never read the rest of the Valiant Solar comic, but I'd read that issue zero because I love Barry Windsor
mm,
Smith. So I went back and reread it. I'm like, oh, let me read Solar. Because what Valiant did was they took the 60s Solar comic, which very nope, I didn't know anybody who read Solar in the 60s, the Gold Key Silver Age comic. And they basically took the idea that he's Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen.
mm,
100%. That's what they made him. Um, but the issue zero reads really good. It's his origin, but then the issue one doesn't read as good because he goes at the end of the issue zero, he goes into the past, I guess, to see himself before he got the powers. But like
mm.
you don't know that when you're reading issue one because you hadn't read the ending of issue zero yet. I'm like, this is really
Right, right, right.
confusing if you didn't read issue zero. And then somehow the comic book Solar from the 60s comes out of him, and you're like, this is really not a great issue zero. Like, I can't imagine reading that cold,
Right, right,
but,
right.
you know,
It's very meta. It's very meta for the time. Like I feel like we're very like on the nose meta now,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that was very meta for the time. They were like, oh, by the way, there's a comic book also. It's different,
Which is,
you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I would have got it because I was smart enough to understand meta even then, but like, I'm just like, I don't know how this book got popular. I mean,
Mm,
Barry Windsor Smith doesn't hurt, you
right,
know.
right.
So I'm reading that, and I'm 3 issues in, taking my time because obviously we have so much new stuff to read. So I'm enjoying it. It's Jim Shooter, so Jim Shooter is just such a solid. He's always solid, and sometimes he
Right,
becomes incredible. I mean, the dude doesn't write. The dude doesn't take over Marvel by not being a talent.
right, right, right.
Um, and I started reading Hate Revisited, the Peter Bagge uh, follow up to his incredible ongoing independent series. Um, and it's good. It's funny. The art's a little wonky, but the dude's got to be near in 70. It's mostly solid. It's mostly real solid artwork. You wouldn't even
Mm.
know like he's 70.
Some of it's
Um,
in color, right? Isn't some in black
it,
and
oh,
white and color and different?
it's mostly in color, I believe.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
was a big
Nice.
fan. Like off and on, I've been a fan of his. Like I got into it. My first Hate comic was issue 50, which is I bought it because Alan Moore uh,
Shocker.
did a story in it. But
Take
I'm
a
like,
shot.
I do like this, so I went back and like bought all the old Hates, bought the neat stuff, just like bought everything. And then he followed after he stopped doing the Hate book. That's when he tried to do other books for other companies, and then he started doing the Hate annuals. For a while, he was doing like a news strip of Bat Boy, the Weekly World News character, like Bat Boy found in a cave, and they just have this
Right.
kid's face
Yeah.
superimposed, which ended up becoming like a meme before a meme thing. That Bat Boy was like all over the place back in the day. So those are the two other books I'm reading at the moment. For this week. So
For this week. Yeah, I feel like every night I'm always like, all right, I wanted to get into something else. We're gonna start working on a couple other things, and we're gonna do some reviews. So you gotta stay tuned for some very special episode, but
a very
without
our first very
child abuse or
special.
alcoholism. You know, but we'll
Yes.
see. That could pop in there. You don't know. Stay
Yeah.
tuned. You know.
Stay tuned, everyone. Give
But
us your
that's it.
reviews. Give us your reviews of our
Reviews.
reviews.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Let me see if I know how to turn this off. Sometimes it's
You don't
tricky.
you don't
So
got to tell them. Just do it.
I think I just pressed this button. I think that's it.
Just do it.
I think that's it.